snuck in. We snuck in another episode for the new year, 2023.
We did.
I mean, it began with us in the beginning of the year. I guess it's going to end with us. How you been, man? I heard you went on a booze cruise.
Yeah, man, a booze cruise. Yeah. I went on a cruise. It was pretty boozy, but yeah. 8-day cruise to Libya, Lifu. It was pretty awesome.
All good.
Yeah, cruised out.
After a while, like, can you actually get seasick in a
Well,
thing
I
like that?
didn't. I watched everyone else get seasick.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't, and I was like, "Well, this is awesome."
Yeah.
But I like you could definitely know why they get seasick, like on the seas.
But it's
like
such a big boat, though.
But you still feel it.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
still like rocking, and
Yeah.
like there was times at night when I couldn't get to sleep.
Really?
Yeah, because it's going like this, and some people like that.
Yeah.
Some people like the rocking.
If you're a baby, and
yeah, and then
the
like
rocking.
I did it. I was like, "Fuck this! What's this bullshit?"
I think you need the booze, man. just
Yeah, you gotta need the boost to get to sleep. But,
my
man, it was good.
God.
I'm still adjusting. I'm still feeling a bit.
yeah,
Like,
you'd walk out, but you got good weather and everything. It's always good
it
to have
was
a break.
Awesome weather. Yeah.
Mate, it's all right. Get back to it. I haven't got you on the payroll, but we need to get we need to talk about some things. This is definitely going to be the last episode of the year, and I just had to sneak one in because there's a lot in tech, in business and entertainment.
Yeah.
We will start. You've heard about this, about the Apple Watch ban in the US. Have you heard about this?
Yes.
So I'll go through the details, but specifically Apple is being sued, taken to court by a medical technology company called Massimo. Not to be confused with Mossimo, the clothing brand.
I was like, shit, man, they're really branching out.
They really are. Over alleged infringement pertaining to the use of their IP, specifically around pulse oximetry.
Yeah.
And that's basically the tech. I think the tech at the back that measures the blood
The
oxygen,
heart rate
right?
monitor, all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
The interesting thing is, I mean, like, we're not 100% like in the day-to-day of the tech world, but like companies like Apple and I dare say Google and that, they get sued kind of a lot pretty often for this. But
it's like regular Sunday
stuff,
for 'em.
this stuff, I was going down the rabbit hole. Has actually the initial infringement sue happened in 2020. So it's been happening for a while. So in terms of the timeline, what's basically just happened is they've gone back and forth because Apple can appeal on it, right?
Yeah.
But essentially, as early as recent as October, the U.S. International Trade Commission basically said done. Like, we've confirmed that they've indeed violated the patent by Apple, and it's blocked. So what happened is in December 24th specifically, that's when it became officially blocked, right?
Yeah, the sale of Apple
The sale,
Watches,
and that's when you started hearing the news in your major sort of news outlets, and it became a big deal. December 24th, obviously December 25th, Christmas time.
Yeah.
A lot of it just coincided with like a lot of news articles, and the fact that a lot of people buy Apple products for like Christmas presents, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So this is really interesting, and going down like just the uncovering and just again down the rabbit hole of just better understanding this here.
I'm loving the branding here. of the podcast.
Just pushing it here. So they're suing specifically for patents, right?
Yeah.
And do you have an Apple Watch?
Yes, I do.
You do have an
I'm not
Apple
wearing
Watch?
it at the
You know
moment,
what version do you have? Because the version that they're talking specifically is from 6 onwards.
I have a 7. Yeah.
You have a 7, so it has it. But the latest versions are the 9 and the Ultra 2,
Yes,
I believe, are the ones that specifically.
That's right. Yeah.
So interestingly enough, the ban is only in the US. Meaning that if there are versions of the 9 and the Ultra 2, I went and checked the Apple Australia website, so we're based in Australia. Couldn't really find it. Like the numbering is a little bit
Yeah, that makes sense.
interesting.
That's the US Trade Commission that's
Correct,
rules,
right? So that is an interesting element, and I'll tie it up a little bit later. But it means that theoretically, and just to make things a little bit more complicated, as at now, today is the 29th of December, the High Court of the US has pushed the ban. So Apple made an appeal. Like this is literally just hours today. Yeah. And what it means is they'll go back again. It gives Massimo an opportunity to go back and when you appeal, it goes back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah.
But until January the 13th.
That's right. Yeah.
So they can still sell these things in January 13th. So it's a little bit of back and forth. There's a lot of things happening here. But what is Apple doing? Infringement.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like the patent, it relates to the heart monitor and all the stuff around that, right? And Massimo was a company that were developing that tech.
Correct.
And I think they had a meeting with Apple. Is this correct? They had a meeting with Apple, and Apple just sort of passed on them.
Yeah.
But stole a good portion of their employees.
Correct. Yeah.
And that's what I guess the whole suit is about, is that did they infringe upon Massimo's whatever IP by stealing their employees, getting that sort of... I mean, obviously it's making it a new version of it, but the knowledge is coming from that company.
Well, this is where I think it gets pretty grey, because if you're not researching about this specifically and you hear the word sue for intellectual property and patent, you're thinking that they're copying outright, right?
Yeah.
But how they came about, like the logistics of it is specifically, well, when you say stole, they poached, right?
Yeah.
And in business, headhunting and poaching happens every time. It's
everywhere.
not illegal, right?
It's not illegal.
So then the question you've got to ask yourself is, okay, if this happened and they poached, because you as an employee it's not illegal to be poached,
But is there any regulation around poaching?
Well, here's the way I try and think about it is, if you're just say a partner for a law firm, right? When you leave or if you get fired, there are non-competes, right?
That's right.
Specifically.
Yes.
But when it comes to intellectual property, and this is where things get grey, if you if you poach someone who is an engineer, who's been instrumental to creating, and I'll talk specifically about the CEO of Massimo, who had very, very strong wording about the way that he described Apple's behavior about them poaching, right? He said that it was very anti-competitive and that they were paying their employees very well to begin with, right? These engineers. But Apple was going ultra above and beyond, like very anti-competitive to get these individuals. So what happened is...
And it wasn't like a small... It was like 20, 25
Yeah, so that's a whole system, right? So
it's basically buying out the company without buying out the company.
Well, that's the irony of it, right? So I was hearing an interview by the CEO of Massimo, and the reporter asked, did you not have a chat with Apple? Could not they have licensed it and stuff like that? And they were open to that conversation. But apparently, from Tim Cook's perspective, he didn't want that. So he, instead of licensing... So what they did is, during COVID is when these new versions had this version of... They researched a whole group of companies that were doing this proximity, oximeter, or whatever it's called, the best. And there were two companies, of which Massimo was one of them. So they went and had a chat with them. I don't know if figures were exchanged in terms of maybe what a licensing could look like. And after that, maybe Tim Cook said, you know what, maybe it's too expensive. We're just going to take your employees and get the IP. And this is the crux of the whole matter, which is pretty interesting in itself, right? Because if you have a non-compete and you take someone from a company that has been instrumental in developing tech.
Right? Because this similar situation happened with OpenAI. Not completely similar, but like in a way similar in that, the head of OpenAI, he was basically taken out. But Microsoft, with their AI ambitions, were like, we've got a place for you right here. Create your own version of it right here. Where does that sort of like? Where's the grey line? Where's it's a bit grey in terms of like, there's no certain line in terms of you can't do that because you can't create that same thing over there. It'd be like the same thing if Apple wanted to seriously get the gaming, which they say they want to at the moment. And they poached all these people from Sony, from Nintendo, from Microsoft, and said, okay, we're making a new gaming company with all these guys, and they're going to make this new console, and it's going to be like the Xbox, but sort of like the Switch, and like isn't that sort of IP?
Well, IP
where's the line in
there? There is no line. I mean, in the sense that IP is creative, right? It's intellectual property. So if you conceive an idea, and you're working for a company, could you not tell the company that I should get proceeds because it's my intellectual property? But the thing is, when you're working for a company, you effectively, as an engineer or a scientist, you kind of sign those rights to a degree, right? In the same way that an artist signs their rights they align themselves to a record company. But again, I think the interesting thing here is listening to the interview of this CEO, he used words like Apple could have done the right thing. We're standing up for the little companies. And he basically alluded to, without saying the words, that Apple has done iterations of this in their past products where they get employees, take patents or elements on smaller companies and basically crush it because they're Apple. They're Google. Or, you know what I mean? And so my question to you is, morally and ethically, it's a bit weird. Like how you'll prove it's one thing. And the thing is, Apple has enough money to be able could have offered to buy that company out. Right?
I mean, the mess they're in there right now, they could have easily
bought it out. But they're not going that way, and I think that's
They have a
That's-
$3 trillion market cap. They could have bought
They could have
this
bought that
company
out,
50
right?
times over.
So they're not. And apparently they've been doing this for, like, what's to say that, what else? Like in their iPhones, there are other elements or silicon chips or whatever that they've taken that innovation.
Yeah.
The other thing is with Silicon Valley, everyone sleeps with everyone in the sense of the engineers go to Google, Facebook, they're just doing the rounds, right?
Yeah.
Like, so as if there's not.
Especially with like the year that we've had in the tech industry with all the crashes.
Exactly, with all the crash, with
I
all the
mean,
redundancies.
yeah.
Like you're going to have iterations of IP
Yeah.
just mashing themselves there. But this is
But like I
a
think
company
where
that's
that
taken
guy, where the muscle guy is like, he feels it's targeted. 25 of your employees
Yeah.
leave to Apple.
Yeah.
Feels targeted. Right?
Exactly,
Yeah. So
exactly.
That's I guess the basis of his legal argument. And I think he's one at a certain point. And the interesting thing right now is, so there's an analyst Ming-Chi Kuo. He's a guy that leaks a lot of Apple sort of stuff before they, come out, when they're in production, basically. And he's been told that the Apple Watch, the next one, is a complete redesign like the iPhone 10 was.
Yeah.
It's going to be completely different. Like what that could mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, it could be like, they might look for another company, buy it out, put that heart rate monitor stuff in there. Could be like a circle watch instead of like the rectangular. But it's following on with these design changes that are happening at the moment with Apple. So it's an interesting time for them.
What I find interesting is like, so what do you reckon like it would be the average age of a consumer that buys the Apple Watch?
Oh,
If you were to roughly put the biggest cohort, it would be like 25 to 35, surely. The biggest
I've
cohort.
seen older people actually wear
I know,
it too.
no,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
definitely is. But you reckon on average, it would be that, right?
Yeah.
The reason I say that is this seems like such a hill to die on. And again, let's keep it real. Apple have so much money that for the lawyers, the fact that they got this appeal is massive in itself.
Yeah.
If you're a small, the amount of resources that you need to do to get an appeal like this is insane, right?
Yeah.
That's number one, right? So the reason I'm saying this is if you remove that blood oximeter, you wouldn't bat an eyelid on it. For your age gap, you wouldn't. But if
No.
you're 45 and 50 and above,
then you would.
I just find it odd that for a very specific feature, which is measuring blood oxygen, which is very niche if you really think about it, right?
They're going
Like
to-
who needs 100%? I wouldn't even know, right? Who needs 100% accurate? Like if there are watches, and this company does it, that
Yeah.
specialize specifically in that they would go through all of that for one function that you probably, I mean, when you talk, I have an Apple Watch, you're not bragging about blood oximetry measurement.
Yeah.
You're talking about other things, right?
Like I would, if I was Apple, try to settle and just, I don't know, maybe get rid of those employees and start up a new
You can't get rid of
division of
employees.
that. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a bit like, is it worth all this
But,
drama?
but that's what I mean. I do think that, again, I find it really interesting that this CEO has noted, and I'm sorry, I just forgot his name, that Apple has done this to other companies before. In terms, so like I said, I'd be intrigued to know.
Like, I'm pretty sure the Vision Pro is based on something else. Zuckerberg.
But does that mean that these companies are just too big to fail? Like, are we stifling innovation by putting so much? Like, what is the incentive of me to go away from Apple as an engineer? So a lot in Silicon Valley, a lot of the innovation comes through hard software, right?
Yes,
Tech, AI, right? So they're behemoths of companies that control hardware and manufacturing, right? And that requires intellectual property as well, right? So what is the incentive for me to go into hardware and manufacturing if engineers are just going to either steal my IP, steal my engineers, big companies, and ingest it because they've got the economies of scale there? That's what makes it really difficult. If you were from a Google X engineer, did your own startup, thought of a new software that you didn't think about when you were in Apple, so they have no lay of claim.
Well, here's the thing. It maybe goes back to what you said before, right?
Yeah.
Like, these people are employees, but they have no stake in the company, right?
Correct,
They have no
equity.
like equity or anything. Maybe
they've got
as an employment,
shares, but yeah.
The thing is, as an employment contract, you probably have to say you have a stake in this product.
Yeah.
If this does well, you do well.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like that's the thing, right? Like companies can't be as greedy anymore as before. Like if you're gonna go to that length where to say you can't work for those people because they're doing the same thing.
Well, you can, like for engineers and software developers, especially in Silicon Valley, they're guns for hire, man.
Yeah.
They're one of the most remunerated and compensated occupations there. in no way would you ever sign like a clause that would stop you from doing that, right?
But that's what they're insinuating, that company, I guess, right? Is saying basically you can't work for Apple then.
Well, they didn't insinuate that. It was more so that they felt that they were remunerating their employees fairly, and Apple went over and above
To poach.
Like,
But that's Apple's initiative if they want to.
it is until they take their software, and that is hence the legal suit. But I thought it was interesting, and I don't have an Apple Watch, so I don't give a damn.
I do. So.
I don't give a damn. Oh, sorry. Last thing, an interesting thing that this CEO noted, and the reason that the lawsuit was specifically in America, is he kept pointing to the fact that Apple doesn't make the watches in America.
No, it's
and I was thinking, fair cost, right?
Yeah, factory in
well,
China.
what does that have to do with anything, right?
Yeah.
And then it kind of dawned to me that potentially the reason that this is just me hypothesizing, by the way, that that Apple, let's just say Apple, because possibly didn't buy the company or license it there, is because if they had to, this part I'm assuming is hardware as well as software. It can't be pure software, right? No. There's a hardware part. Yeah. If it's made in America and there's no budge on the company to change it from America, because they were very proud about it. The cost would be much more than much more than
way more.
You tell me in an Apple Watch that is $600 or $700 in Australia, it's obscene how expensive these things are. Yeah. If they're making it in China and Vietnam, which is where they are, I googled it. Bart better be correct. How much margin are they going to make? Like keeping the manufacturing costs there versus America?
A lot. That's a lot, right? And they moved to India as well. They've made iPhones in India.
Exactly,
now,
right? So I thought, like, out of everything there, that was...
It would be the patent thereafter, if they wanted it.
The patent... Well, yeah, the patent. Definitely the patent. Anyway, naughty Tim Cook.
Tim Cook, man. Naughty, whatever.
Speaking of naughty... Your boy. No, it wasn't your boy.
My boy? What the fuck is that, my boy?
Didn't you say that you and Jonathan Majors were boys?
When did I say that?
I've got it on tape somewhere.
I did not say that.
I'm going to question your character, the company that you keep. Anyway, listen. So Jonathan Majors was let go by Marvel in December 2023. I mean, the writing was on the wall.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of thought they were going to do it anyway when...
It was going to happen.
When he got a court date, I was like, I don't think Marvel wants to be attached to this.
Yeah, after being found guilty of 2 misdemeanor counts of harassment and assault against his ex-girlfriend. This is messy. He was doing so good. That was a really good
Academy Award nominated. I think
he
won it. I think
to me he was the Will Smith. Like his trajectory was getting there.
His trajectory, he was getting very good roles. He just got he was part of Marvel. Big franchise. And man,
Kang, he was set too because he was doing a good job. I thought
Kang is good.
I thought Kang was like Thanos light. Like I thought that there was a good chance.
They were building him up like that. Like he was going to be the next big bad. Obviously, the Avengers movie was called Kang Dynasty.
Exactly.
Which I think is now being changed.
Kang Dynasty, baby.
Feige, man, he's right here.
Come on, man.
Call him, man.
You can see Jeremiah height if that's an issue. Actually, Jonathan Majors is not that tall too.
But but he's had a very abusive relationship with his partner there. And
man.
It's all come out.
I mean, you saw the videos, right? It didn't look good. I think there's a video of him circulating on the internet where apparently his partner at the time, now ex-girlfriend, saw that he was having messages with other girl. There's a video of him running out, confronted him, and then he's like basically shoving her back into the car.
Yeah, and
it's all messy.
There's all these stuff about her going to a nightclub after, and it's weird. It's just I reckon everyone's trying to find. I guess a couple of weeks before, everyone was trying to find is this a woke thing? You know? I don't think so, man. They're both abusive people. I think they're both.
But a lot of
they're both there's no good guy here. They're both abusive. It's like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
I was gonna say it's got shades of that sort of vibe.
They're both wrong.
but he's laying hands on, so the misdemeanor, it's real. But I heard a videotape, like a recording basically of a rant of him with his ex-girlfriend, the same ex-girlfriend there, where she had and I'm just hearing what I said, right? I don't know, if it can be out of context, it can be out of context. Leave some comments below and educate this fool. But basically she had gone to a nightclub
Yeah.
And she came in, you heard that one?
heard
And he
this
came
one,
in
yeah.
late and he's like, you are making me look bad. I want you to look at 2 women as your role model. And he had Michelle Obama. And then I can't remember the other chick, the other lady.
Rose or something.
Something like
Yeah, I
that.
had Rosa
And he's
Parks,
like,
I don't know.
I'm doing big things for me, for us, for my people.
For my community,
For my
for my
community. I'm like, bro, what are you smoking? Like, seriously.
The guy is...
Mages, like, he's a good actor, but he's got some Black Shia LaBeouf vibes, man. I'm telling you. Like, that's just nuts. He's just fucking nuts. Good actor, but just nuts. Like, he just takes himself too seriously, man. Some of these guys,
he
like,
would be like he's someone you wouldn't want to invite to the party. You know? I don't know. He's a bit too serious about himself. But
what the hell? Do you think he's done in Hollywood? For now, he is. He's gonna be Black.
Well,
Panther,
they're saying
man.
he might be it might be a year or 2 in jail. I heard even.
In jail.
I heard
no,
it
no,
might
it's a
be.
misdemeanor, dude.
Possibly could be. That's what I heard.
Well,
But
misdemeanor is a downgraded charge from like assault
Yeah.
because it means no intention. It means recklessness.
yeah, reckless.
So you're reckless, but you're not like if you have an intent to hurt someone. That's.
But like like when I was watching the Ant-Man, right? And
Yeah.
a bit of Creed.
It was the best part of it, right?
Yeah, and but him beating up Ant-Man, I was like, whoa, this looks kind of real, right? I was like, this guy's kind of scary. What the fuck? I was like, the guy has like a violent nature about it, doesn't he? He does. He looks like he does.
He was acting, man. He was acting.
It was good acting though.
He was acting, but like, yeah, like he was in a trajectory. He was in Creed 3, which is on my list of terrible movies of the year.
Oh,
Like,
terrible movies.
that's
Oh, shit.
2 hours I'm never gonna get back in my life. But what happened to Kang, man? Because that was such a good character. There's rumors. Okay, so
He got replaced by Doctor Doom. That's what
that's what I've heard too. But
So-
if you were to replace Kang, this is what the internet is undefeated. So they're suggesting Jonathan Boyega. Of course, they got to put a black guy that
Yeah,
looks
no,
like
like
it.
I mean, it could work. Yeah.
Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle, friend of the podcast, Don Cheadle.
I don't know why I can't say that. Don Cheadle's got a weird head, man. Brother's got a weird head. And here is my wild card. Put it out there because it's gonna go viral. My replacement for Kang, Kevin Hart.
That'd be the biggest FU, right? Like, if out of nowhere, there's sort of a variant of Kang. There's like this short little black guy. Go, hey, what's up? What's up?
How is it different from the Kang now, man?
Oh man,
But Marvel's got a history of like replacing actors anyway. They've done it
they
from
do,
time
right?
to time
They do.
again.
The Incredible Hulk, where
Yeah.
Edward Norton was
Exactly.
being a pain in the ass,
And Don Cheadle as well.
Yeah, Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle replaced Terrence Howard.
Exactly.
So,
So
anyone
Kevin
that's being a
Hart is
pain
going
in-
to replace Jonathan Majors.
Oh shit! I can't wait for that. But yeah, we're hearing Doctor Doom, so that's what I've been
Who's
told.
Doctor Doom now? They don't
Doctor
have like,
Doom.
yeah.
No one's Doctor Doom at the
Yeah,
moment.
yeah,
But
yeah.
they're saying the Oppenheimer guy, Cillian Murphy, is going to be Doctor, which is a good casting if
face
they
for
ever
it,
did one.
yeah.
But man,
sad,
he's
bro.
lost out. Like
It's sad to see.
his career's over, I reckon.
You reckon?
I don't think
He's definitely going to be in the wilderness. He's gonna have to go to the independent route.
Well, he
to
was
get-
dropped even as soon as his court date was announced. He was dropped by.
Yeah, he was dropped by the other stuff. So
Yeah.
I think everyone was just waiting to see why Disney, with its family image,
Yeah,
like
they'll
you
keep
would have
it.
thought that would be the first ones to
first
drop
one,
it,
yeah.
right?
But they waited. They
They waited to see it, and maybe they were
Because a lot was riding on him, right? Like, because the next Avengers movie is named after him.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
a lot was riding on him. So they wanted to see whether it was true, but yeah, it was not, and he got charged.
Damn, son, why they got to do this? Why do they got to do this, man? But
Well,
yeah,
the
look,
funny thing was not funny, but like the the crazy thing was that like he before and his lawyer was saying we have irreparable proof that he's innocent. Like they were so confident about it, and like it just didn't work. It just didn't
you know what?
convince the
That
jury.
lawyer wants to be the next Kang. There's some solid acting going on there. Yeah, I don't know, man. Such a waste. But like these Hollywood, yeah, you can't generalize them. But like,
Hollywood's a
it's
crazy
just a
place,
waste.
man.
It's just
Hollywood's
a waste.
crazy.
Yeah. I
Nuts.
think like when you hear like tape records of him talking like that, like how
Yeah, like
abusive. Like you can see how the power kind of all got
He
to
thought
him.
he was like a president level type. I don't know what is thinking way too much of himself.
Yeah.
Not
Anyway.
fun. Not fun at the parties.
All right, we'll see. We'll see what happens and who replaces the new Kang. But I'm telling you, Chang Dynasty has a ring to it.
I mean, I can call up Feige now.
Just get Seymour. Just get Seymour. He can play me.
He's already in there.
Here it is.
I'll just make him a variant.
Bro, have you heard of this?
Right.
Tesla robot attacks worker. So, a Tesla engineer was attacked by a robot. And apparently these, so they have a lot of automation in their gigafactories across the board, and this one, this robot basically, I think it grabs like freshly cast aluminium and like just stacks it and stuff like that. So apparently, and I'm just gonna exaggerate the shit out of this because that's what the internet's for, but this is how it was described. It grabbed the engineer, and because the amount of pressure to press the mold, it did it on like it pressed on the engineer's like one of their arms, punctured and lacerated the arms.
Shit.
And apparently like other engineers had to come and like turn off. This is like a movie, turn off the emergency stuff.
This sounds like the start of the Matrix.
Start button, yeah.
Enter the Matrix. Anyone watch that? Like that's how it starts.
So I mean, this is like recent news, right? Like maybe like a week, maybe this week or a week ago, depending on when we film. But when I was, again, going down the rabbit hole researching this, apparently this was an incident report that just surfaced this week, but it happened in 2021. Why are we just hearing of it now? So you would think that this was like just happened, but this happened in 2021.
I'll tell you why we're hearing about it now. It's because the AI gravy train that was started last year, it was going to be derailed if this shit came out.
Here's my theory on it. Like Tesla, so I'm reading Elon Musk's biography, right, by Isaac Walterson. During the Tesla has like a lot of haters, right?
Yeah.
A lot of spies and stuff like that. And I just can't help. So there's always a lot of FUD happening Tesla to bounce down the share prices.
Yeah.
And if this happened in 2021, it could have been released in 2021. Like how does it? There's a lot of spies that happen there. So the only thing that I can like connect the dots is the Cybertruck has quoted unquote. So maybe it's just FUD to combat that. But look, I've seen a lot of people like
puncturing someone's arm.
Yeah, but like I can see a world where I don't know why I can see it, but like again, it's a robot picks up a aluminium like part of a door, whatever, stacks it, right? Yeah. So if it thinks the human being is the door, the pressure that it has to apply to stack, you know what I mean?
No, but it's supposed to be like, isn't there like sense to say human being good, aluminium bad, put aluminium there?
Clearly not, but obviously stuff like this doesn't help. But
I mean, if you're a really shiny human, that might be bad. Stop putting on that much moisturizer.
Yeah, but like you hear this sensationalized, like we just gotta trust these robots, man. They wouldn't do
really? We gotta trust them? Like, have you watched Enter the Matrix?
This is a manufacturing robot, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not shilling Tesla. I don't own any shares, right?
He does. I bet you he does.
So this is a manufacturing robot. It's not like they created some robot that became sentient or something.
Well, what happened, right? Was the person standing in its like...
I don't know the specifics, but clearly it mistook the human being for a piece of aluminium. I can only...
Did the human come out of the shower or something? Like, was it really shiny?
But what's like, because it's been... Like, it was in the biography as well that I'm reading this. Elon... Like, Tesla's notorious for working the stuff to the ground, right? Because they have insane production. So
you think the robot was overworked?
And stuff like that. And the robot took it out. No, that's definitely not what I think.
But
fucked. Apparently, the guy that got a quote-unquote laceration or a puncture, I mean, what does that even mean? Like, when I hear the word puncture, I'm like envisioning like a hole there.
Yeah, a hole.
Right? Like a big hole. Anyway, well, that's what puncture or laceration means. Anyway, he wasn't allowed any time off to go back to... Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing, bro?
I don't know why. That's fucking funny.
Why are you laughing? Are you worse than Elon, man? Why are you laughing?
Shit, man. That's even fucking Elon. A guy just gets fucking punctured by a robot. And still no time off?
No, bro.
Are you fucking shitting me? Not even sickly.
Get back to work, you little shit.
Oh, no, man. That's...
I don't know why we're laughing, but that's fucking...
I'm laughing at the ridiculous of Elon.
So it's not enough that, like, your robot's trying to fucking hurt you.
Sorry, man. We're going to punch him. Sorry, man. Fucking
that's wrong, man. That's just wrong. Seriously. But... He wasn't allowed to take any time off.
Not even annual leave?
No sick leave, because technically you're not sick.
Yeah.
It's like maybe you antagonize the robot.
You put the virus in the robot. You're the problem.
Look, in all seriousness, like obviously people are now questioning, not now, but like they've always been questioning, like the
Is
fact of
Elon a robot? Maybe
the injury rates of Tesla workers.
Maybe that was his mate that did that.
Jeez, bro.
Elon kind of is like a robot. Yeah, the way he talks.
Out of interest, so we had the episode on the Cybertruck, like a month ago?
Yeah.
Less than that. A couple of weeks ago. So it's fairly recent. But like 2 weeks ago, I don't know if you follow Tesla on YouTube. They have an official YouTube account. They had a video. It's done like 3 million views about the Gemini 2 robot. Have you seen that?
Gemini 2.
Optimus Gen 2 robot.
Optimus Prime. Oh,
It's basically okay. Hold on.
bro, it's
bro.
like all of pop culture becoming alive now.
Yeah,
Matrix, Transformers, all this shit is all happening. At the same time.
Cybertruck and shit. Okay,
man.
just check this out, bro. And this is on their site, their official YouTube, which is dedicated to their cars, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, is this a spoof or something, bro? Like, check this out. So, oh my gosh. There's too much stuff on YouTube. This is making for riveting podcast.
Well, I wonder, like,
Yeah, check this out. So Tesla. So
Yeah.
everything about their car, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Blah. But you have one. Oh, wait. Well, this is not working at all.
Yeah, I mean, Elon and his fucking Cybertruck. I mean, he's just. I mean, he's. We got a lot of.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, here we go.
Optimus Gen 2. 3.2 million views, 2 weeks. So basically, what it is, it's a robot, a humanoid robot.
Oh, yeah, I see this.
You see this one, right? And they're talking about like the fact that it can walk like a human,
walks around
but it
and
can
shit.
censor like an egg, like just the delicate touch thing.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, hold up, isn't Tesla like a robot? Is it a robotics company now? Like, can you buy this shit?
I didn't know they were
They
getting
just-
into that shit.
but they were just
I thought it was meant to just be for like manufacturing.
So I googled it
warehousing.
and just to see, are these the robots that they're
Yeah.
using in the manufacturing plant? And apparently they're not. So I'm like, that's a bit. Did you think that's a bit weird?
Well,
Like,
that's the thing, right? Aren't a lot of car manufacturing places
they
automated
are,
anyway?
they are, but like I think it's a peek underneath the veil and the curtain of. They're working on. I mean, Tesla, SpaceX, like all of his stuff kind of aligns together. The material that they're using for the Cybertruck, that steel, they've used it on his rockets. Like that's where it essentially came from. But anyway, I just thought it was weird considering that you can't buy the robot. They're not.
You can't buy that.
Yeah, why would they put it on their YouTube channel? It's a bit random, don't you think? If all videos were about Tesla cars, and then all of a sudden you see this freaking robot.
Elon with his fucking
bro.
Matrix plans. That's what it is. That's what it is.
think
That's what he's doing. He's
I
threatening
think
us.
someone pressed upload and forgot to delete it.
Oh god, it's
What's
Elon.
going on, bro?
It's Elon and his bloody plans to take over the world with robots and shit and
Well,
start the Matrix.
look, when we eventually go to Mars, which is we need robots there. Like we need to do some work, bro.
Okay, if with this Matrix shit starts, then I'm Neo and you're Morpheus.
Yeah.
All right, bags it.
gotta be the white guy. Right there, like that. Anyway, oh my gosh, I'm just over AI robots. Like I want 2024 to be the year of non-AI.
Well, that's not going to happen because there's an AI phone by Samsung. There's an AI laptop by Windows.
God.
It's not going to happen. Yeah, everything's AI.
Okay, on to the next one. You're familiar with the brand Xiaomi, right?
Yes, yes.
So they're a
Phones
Chinese
and
brand,
stuff.
smartphone manufacturer,
Banned.
massive, right?
Everywhere banned.
So Xiaomi today has launched. Basically, they're entering into the EV market and they're aiming to compete with Tesla and Porsche. Take your phone out and Google Xiaomi SU7. And you tell me, does that thing look good to you? Like just as I said, because the brands that they're aiming to compete with are Tesla and Porsche. SU7 Xiaomi.
Oh, here we go. Xiaomi. How was it a suggestion?
It does like aesthetically doesn't look too bad, right?
It looks good. It
Looks
looks good.
alright.
It's blue, but it looks good.
So look, there are two versions of this. I'm not going into the version specs, but like apparently it does. That doesn't look too bad, right?
But
yeah.
you do know that baby blue is like the color for like gangsters and stuff.
here
You
we
know
go.
that, right?
So the max version does 0 to 100 in under 3 seconds, not under 3, right?
Yeah.
It has a top speed of 265 kilometers per hour. Like where the hell would you ever use that? And it has a recharge range of 800 kilometers. That's nuts, by the way. Like I'm into the EV whole thing. That's nuts. But my question to you, not talking about the specs of it. Xiaomi is a mobile phone manufacturer. Would you buy a car from a mobile phone manufacturer?
Well, we are going to be soon with the Apple one.
Do
aren't
you
we?
think people? Okay, so so there's a proliferation of Chinese EVs in the world at the moment, and they're taking over because of their cheap price point. So clearly, that's not a mental
So
barrier.
is BYD the
BYD
Chinese?
is Chinese,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
So like
Thought so.
my dad doesn't. It's great. It's actually a really good car,
Yeah.
right? So that's fine. BYD is initially a battery manufacturer, but my question to you is, if LG created a EV, would you buy it? if Samsung created because you've heard of the fact that Apple's actually doing that, right? And in Apple form, these things are going to cost an arm and a leg.
8K for QLED, do that
But
shit.
do you think people can get over the mental barrier of a smartphone manufacturer? Because a phone is one thing. Yeah. I can take a risk so this is an Oppo right now. I've never bought that in my life, and I'm 7 phones in, right? So I can take a risk on this because it's $500, right? Yeah. But can I mentally take a risk on buying that? And they're aiming to compete against. They didn't say Toyota. They didn't say BYD. They didn't say Kia. They didn't say Hyundai. They said Tesla and Porsche. Like they're like, I know, well, it looks like a Porsche. Like it's got all cars steal design cues from these cars. But what I mean is aspirationally, they're going over 2 of the biggest, like Porsche is like, that's ridiculous. Like the biggest brand equity for cars there. Yeah. Do you think that the individual mass market consumer, and I looked at the proposed price for this, and to be honest, I'm not even going to mention it, but it's pretty cheap for what it is, right? It's not cheap, but like it's cheap for what it is. Do you think that if it was at an affordable rate, you could get your mind past the fact that it's firstly a Chinese car for a lot of people in the Western world?
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's just a very hard thing
because everyone's traditionally thinking Japanese cars are like Toyota and stuff like that is what the standard should be, right?
Toyota's Chinese, isn't it?
Toyota is Japanese,
right? Yeah, the standard, right? So that's number one. Chinese things have just unfortunately a bad rep, right? Which is ridiculous when you consider the fact that your Teslas are now made in China and iPhones are made in China. So like just when I see people go very brand like superiority, I'm like, you need to chill because if you're typing in an iPhone, it's Chinese made, right?
Or Indian.
Or Indian made. So manufacturing is manufacturing. But again, a car is such a emotive purchase, and you're even having I struggle to see how initially. To me, even when Apple launches their car, and it's going to be a stupid price, it's not going to be accessible because Apple being Apple. Who do you think is going to buy that? Like the mass market.
We're at an interesting crux of like the car market, right?
Because that's what technology is like.
Before a car used to be like a thing that like back in the olden days, you really love, you take care of, you wash, like it's like your baby, like that's what it used to be. That's like
still is for certain people.
Still is for certain people. That's right, and it's going to go from that to like it's a device now. it's a smart computer, like a phone. It's like your laptop. It's like your iPad. It's like now it's a car, right? It's a smart car,
but it can drive you autonomously.
Yeah,
if you believe in Elon.
And it's like it's sort of making that transition from that sort of thinking of the car market to it being a device. There's going to be some growing pains. There's going to be a lot of stuff. Whether people get used to the idea of a Samsung car or of an Apple car.
That's nuts, right? When you think about it.
That's going to take a while.
Can you imagine if, I don't know, let's just fast forward 10 years. What are we? Samsung Ultra 23, 24 is going to be this year. Samsung Ultra 30, all right? Yeah. If you buy it, you get 10% off the Samsung car. I don't know what the hell it looks like there. Yeah. And you need this to slot in because it is the key for your car. Yeah. It is the brain for your car.
I can see that.
It connects it there. Yeah. It charges your entire car. Maybe the battery is actually in there and everything. So if you've bought things from Woolworths or whatever, it's all stored there. Yeah. You can make your order. Yeah. Or maybe the car can self-drive to your local pickup and do its own things. You're right. Like people,
that's nuts. I never thought of that. Actually,
if self-driving is happening and like all the behavior. I mean, people are so addicted to their phones. You're right. The intersection of technology, and it's very scary because that obsession of constantly needing to have all the gadgets, all the screens, everything.
Back in the day, Samsung was like, appliances manufacturer before they did phones.
Yeah. A
little bit of the TV and stuff like that.
And it took some time.
But for Samsung to be taken as a phone manufacturer, it took a while as well, right?
Correct.
The Galaxies and stuff.
The Galaxies took a long while.
So it can happen. Like people were like, I didn't really think I'd be buying a Samsung phone. I had a Nokia.
Yeah.
So then it's like people get used to that sort of stuff. That should be okay. What shouldn't though, actually, is what I've read the other day about like, I don't think the US government backs Tesla. And
well, not anymore, but they're self-sufficient.
So, no, in the sense that like they had this EV sort of summit.
Correct.
And they invited all these car manufacturers, but they didn't invite Tesla, the one that sells the most EVs in the world. And yeah, Elon took that very personally. I heard. I thought he was like, what is going on? We sell 1 million EVs like a month, and Toyota, who sold like 120,000, they're getting invited to this EV summit. Which I'm guessing, if a government is holding an EV summit, there are some sort of perks that come with it, right? And Tesla's not getting those perks. They don't. The current government doesn't like Elon. Doesn't like Tesla. Doesn't like the way they do business.
Multi.
But it's just like they're all coming after Tesla's market now, and maybe the government's helping them.
Well, competition is a good thing.
Yeah,
because those Teslas are not exactly the cheapest and most affordable cars.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I just thought it was interesting. I do think like the prices that we're talking from cars are significantly more expensive than anything else.
You know what's going to happen? I think you gave me an idea.
Yep.
So in the future, in 10 years, picking up your groceries is going to be done all automated. The robot's going to get out the groceries.
So what are we going to do?
Thing, and it's going to put it in the EV that's driverless. It's going to drive it to your garage, and then all you do is just go to your garage and pick up your groceries. So you're done.
Not even that. That's what the robot needs to do as well.
The robot will do that too.
So what is the purpose of existence?
I don't know.
If you're having all of...
Sit and be in front of your screen? Is that what it is? Is that what they want us to do? I mean,
who is they, bro?
Here
we go.
Oh, can we get down on that?
No, not this one.
Down the rabbit hole on they.
I'm not interested in getting cancelled yet, baby. That's a 2035 thing.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man. All right, dude. This is my next segment. All right. I'm going to look at the camera. I'll take it off. It's been hard, bro.
Shit. It's been hard, bro. Serious here.
So it was the beginning of the year, the NBA season. And 0-0, 0 wins, but 0 losses.
That's good.
Hope. You hope, We weren't good. Terrible. But we weren't bad, okay? 0. This other 0 is really important, okay? Fuck, man. When you keep losing that much, man, like it mentally gets to you. See, I was going to wear a Detroit Pistons cap.
Shit.
But I'm like, why would I do that to myself, man? I have more self-respect than that, all right? I have more self-respect than that, all right?
Ooh.
So I'm a Detroit Pistons fan. And as of today, 2-28 losses. 28 losses in a row. And counting. And counting. This is how bad it's gotten, right? Like, so in the NBA, that is the most ever consecutive losses.
Whoa.
27 was the most consecutive losses in a single season. So they had a season where there was 2 seasons because of the lockout.
Yeah.
28 is now the most official. And heck, let's just make it 30, bro. What the fuck does it matter, all right?
Might as well, isn't it?
But dude, it's
so you've been following this team, I know, for now.
For a while.
For 20 fucking years.
And like we weren't
the need for sheet. I remember that. I remember that in high school.
Need for sheet.
20 years ago. I remember you were saying that.
Sheet, baby. That's how I'm a real one. Right? I'm a real
OG,
one.
man, I'm telling you,
I'm
he's OG.
fucking OG. I don't know why. I'm in Australia, Sydney. What's Detroit, man? Like I don't even like Eminem that much. All right? Like I don't. Big Sean's eyed though. Big Sean.
Big Sean. Yeah,
But seriously, I've questioned why the fuck do I follow this team, man? Because when you lose 28 times,
is there relegation in NBA? There isn't.
No, there isn't.
There isn't. Otherwise,
Thank
God.
But so this is okay. So you're asking because you don't follow the NBA.
I don't follow, but like, where does this start?
How
is this
the
coach?
fuck do you? Okay, yes.
Is
All right.
this players? Is this coach?
Okay,
is this
okay.
the draft? Like,
Okay,
tell me how this goes.
Okay. I don't have 1 hour and I don't want to bore people. But as a Detroit Pistons fan, this is what's really irking me though, right?
Yeah.
Because now it's getting national attention. Now it's getting old world attention.
Well, you said records. The worst kind of records, yes, you will.
Now people are tuning into Pistons games to watch this team lose, dude. It sucks so bad. You know what I get in my Instagram feed? Put $100 on the Detroit Pistons. if you had put in $1 and put it in your savings, you would have been $100 grand and you'd be a fucking millionaire. If you put for 28 games, that's all I get. And it's so mentally okay. So I'll tell you what's happened. Right, one is we were the worst, one of the worst top 3 teams last year. Right.
Yeah.
So we were tanking when our best player, Kate Cunningham, went on injury.
Yeah.
for Victor Wembanyama, the generation
Yeah,
talent.
that guy,
Fucking
yeah,
San
yeah.
Antonio got him. By the way, San Antonio are equally shit. We're 2-28. They're 4. They're no better. But the
Yeah.
only thing is, between the 4, they're 1 in betweens, right? They
Yeah.
haven't got 28 in a row. And I've watched every game, bro. I'm not even joking you. So this is
Hardcore fan, man. Come on, OG.
today against the Boston Celtics, which are the best team in the East. Halftime, we were up 20 points and we lost.
Still.
So hold up. So this is what I'll say.
Oh shit. That's.
So listen to me, all right? Don't fuck around with my Pistons teams, right? They're not the worst team in the NBA.
Yeah.
They just do not know how to
They're the worst
win. They don't know how to win teams. They're consistently been in the team. They're the 4th youngest team in the NBA. But the problem with losing, and it's on the coach, yes, it's on that. There's multiple, but the thing is, when you start losing consistently, what happens if you're up 20? Dude, think about this, and you lose.
It's a mental game.
It's a mental game.
It's a mental game.
In the 3rd and
Any
the
sport
4th
is.
quarter, they clam up, and they're all young dudes there. They don't have enough veterans there, right? Who have won it. And the problem is, we had our veterans injured in the beginning, so we just had a concoction of bad luck. And when these veterans came back, they started losing. And that's the problem with losing at that scale. It really mentally fucks with you. And now the problem is, in an 82-game NBA season, teams take off nights. They do, because it's so long. No one wants to lose against the Detroit Pistons because you do not want to be
embarrassing.
Exactly. So now they're trying ultra hard, not against a good team, against a bad team, and it's just spiraled out of control. So it's really unique. There's advanced metrics which say that a San Antonio is a worse team because their differential is worse than us, and all those really advanced stats, which I'm not going to get into. Let's keep it real. If you've lost 28 in a row, you're a shit ass team, right? But are you the worst team? Maybe not, but you are if you're losing 28 in a row. It's just hard because I don't know when it's going to be, and it's
Here's the bright side.
There's a bright side. You don't follow fucking team. Where's the bright side?
It can only go off. I mean, I can't see them losing another 28 in a row.
No, bro. Let's go for goal, baby.
But here's the thing with sports teams: they go through the ups and downs, and
This is beyond that.
this is beyond down. But like, it's one that a lot of teams go through, right? Where you lose everything. And usually what happens is a complete refresh of the whole team.
They have to
happens.
refresh it.
Coaching staff, players.
Here's the
they all
problem.
go.
We hired a coach for the biggest salary ever in NBA history because we thought that we were going to make the jump in Monty Williams. They gave him $15 million a year.
Whoa.
Biggest ever contract. They can't get go of him. That's a sunk cost.
Yeah.
So the problem is, and this is where like there are problems here. There's a multitude of things, but it's just the worst possible iteration of luck has come and it's manifested in 0 for 28. And it really sucks. But it hurts me when I see a lot of people talk about it because unless you've watched every game, you can't talk about it, dude. Like you don't know. And the thing is, I follow Detroit Pistons blogs and things. It's like going to like support house. No, seriously. The Detroit Pistons content creators, their views and subscribes have gone through the roof because people are so depressed. And I'm not joking. Like, you tell me this. Like, what is a team that you follow, like, in a league? Like, really follow? Because I really go for the Pistons. It's probably my most fanatical team. I don't know why.
I can't.
You go cricket? Do you go for like a league, though? No, not a country.
I can equate this to the Indian team.
Okay,
as well,
but, okay.
right? Because
No. Don't pick a country. Pick a
because
league.
they have... for 10 years, not won an ICC tournament. They've been given the tag of chokers.
Okay, yeah.
They've been like, and it's sort of now recently with the World Cup final, they lost that as well after being undefeated in basically all these tournaments. But now for 10 years now, everyone's counting up. It's 10 years without a trophy.
Yeah. I hear.
It's just like, this team is so great. How can they not perform in the final when they need it the most?
I can see the parallels there, but my only like rebuttal to that is when it comes to country support, Fiji's shit, man. Like we're shit in rugby, and that's why that thing was big for us. But if it's your country, that's your flag. So you have no choice. The reason I say that is because this year was the first ever time I have considered changing. I'm like, why are you putting yourself in it? This makes no sense. Seriously, because you've heard of like a lot of people that, hey, what team do you follow? Miami. Why you like Miami, bro? Oh, LeBron, man. You know what I mean?
LeBron.
Just letting you know, LeBron's now a Laker. Oh, nah, I love LA, man.
I guess I respect, man. You've been following this for 20 years.
But this is the first time I've ever considered, like, why? Like, if I ever change team...
Where's the thing, right? It's been 20 years. You're not going to change now.
But that's what I mean. I just can't, right? Like, it's just in my DNA.
Yeah.
But when you follow a team and I'm like, why do I watch? Look, they were up 20 points and I knew they were going to lose. So it's affecting my mental. Like that's how bad it is. When you start following a team that loses that much, you're like, I don't believe you're going to win. Maybe I should put 10 against them.
It's just, yeah.
Sports fandom sucks, man. It's great. It's the most fun thing. I wrote in my diary once, I'm like, you should never let your joy be dictated by the outcomes of another man. And I still do.
still do.
That's some profound shit, right? Chang Dynasties, baby.
The Chang Dynasty game. Avengers Chang Dynasty. More quotes. Look at that movie.
Man. I'm just done. I'm done.
That's right. It's the only way it can only go up from here. Seriously, it can only actually go up from here. Unless they lose 28 more, which I'll be back here.
You're in the sub story. Okay. No.
Not even the sub story, I'll be roasting.
PSA, right? If they lose, okay. Nah, bro, I can't do it. Okay. If they lose 50 in a row, which is just unheard of, I will change my team and put it on here.
Oh.
And we will do a draw. We'll just do a random team allocator on Chang Media. 50 in a row, though. It has to be in a row. Not 50
you
losses.
might have to go for the Clippers.
50 in a row, and then it'll go to like another shitty team.
Yeah.
So, putting it out there.
Phoenix Suns, are they still a team?
Sounds good. Sounds good. It's a good jersey. You know what's the other shitty thing about this? Their jerseys still cost so expensive. They should be giving that shit away for free. I went in, I'm like, all right, let me get a jersey. They should be putting that as a wiping rag at the moment, bro. Can't even sell. Why is it $150? Why? It shouldn't even be 50%. It should be freaking 30%
off. These rare jerseys, they wrote us.
They wrote everything, bro. I'm done, bro.
That's a depressing note to end on.
Put my damn glasses.
Oh, yeah, put it back on.
Anyway, mate, that was a good episode. Good hotcast.
Yeah, man.
2023 is done.
It's done. I mean, I hope you get this out before the year end because we've mentioned a lot of dates here.
we have mentioned. I'll definitely get it out, mate. It's been a pleasure.
It's good. We started this at the start of the year, and we're about 28 episodes deep now. And it's good that we've kept this going and
kept the momentum going.
We've seen the growth of the channel. It's been growing,
yep.
And we're expecting a lot more to grow. There's a lot more things coming to the channel.
A lot more content, a bit of vlogs here.
A bit of vlogs, variety of content that's coming to Chang Media. So watch out for that, man.
Check it out. See you, peeps.
Peace.